Today, we'll look at some statistics, warning signs, facts, warnings again, and forecasts that will demonstrate just how bad the economy is in the United States. The EU's economy has steadily deteriorated over the past 2 years, and millions of Americans have never recovered financially from the economic shocks caused by the health crisis. Additionally, consumer prices have reached their highest levels in almost 4 decades, and costs of living across the country continue to rise. Consumers in the United States are losing faith in the economy and are cutting back on spending as their purchasing power diminishes. This belief has gripped the younger generation, and the majority of young American business owners and financial professionals don't expect things to improve anytime soon. Today, we've compiled a list of symptoms that reveal that things are going awry in the United States once again. Welcome to the Financial Flow. Please like and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up on our latest videos. Here are 15 shocking facts concerning the current situation of the American economy. It's important to look ahead to the challenges that lie ahead. The EU's GDP shrank in the first 3 months of 2022, the first serious contraction since 2019. There has been a steep reduction in exports, a delayed restocking of items in stores and warehouses, a huge increase in the trade deficit, which has taken a toll on GDP. The Commerce Department estimates that GDP dropped at a 1.4% yearly rate, and experts at Deutsche Bank noted that while inflation is still on the rise, it will be a long time before it returns to the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. As a result, it's possible that the Fed will increase interest rates in a way that's detrimental to the overall economy. We believe the Fed will have to tighten monetary policy much further, which will necessitate a severe downturn before inflation can be restored. The economist at Deutsche Bank said in a research titled, "Why the Coming Recession Will Be Worse Than Expected." Many analysts and investors believe the Federal Reserve will fail in its goal of creating a soft landing for the economy. Small companies' top issue is rising prices, followed by supply chain disruptions, the health crisis, and labor shortages, according to a new report from the Small Business Administration. Only 18% of small business owners evaluated the present economy as favorable, while 44% rated it as terrible, according to the study. Consumption is running out of savings as a key indicator of economic weakness. Savings rates for American households have fallen to a 14-year low of 4.4% in the month of April alone. According to the latest Commerce Department numbers, millions of households are already in negative savings zone, which means that they are increasingly dipping into their savings to pay for their monthly expenses. Additionally, a recent survey by market research firm NPD Group found that over 80% of US consumers expect to make less purchases over the next 3 to 6 months. Consumers in 2022 will buy 6% less things than they did in the same period last year. According to the research, consumer spending is already slowing in 2021, which is affecting the profits of large box retailers and potentially affecting the entire economy. From March 2021 to March 2022, Americans lost purchasing power at a higher rate than they had in the previous decade. Americans have lost an average of 0.45% of their purchasing power month after month, totaling a loss of 5.4%, as consumer prices soared 8.5% in the past year. Although earnings grew slower than inflation, longer-term pay scale calculations show that median wages have fallen by 9% since 2006. Over the next 3 years, Americans expect that inflation will remain at 4.2%, according to the latest New York Federal Reserve Bank survey. That's a record high for the next year's near-term projections, because inflation can readily become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Those expectations are important. A pricing spiral can occur if businesses boost prices in response to increased consumer expectations of inflation. Consumers' faith in the economy is rapidly eroding across the United States, when rising living costs clouded Americans' view of the economy, and it fell short of all experts' predictions, which called for a median reading of 64. Everything we consume is now much more expensive than it was a year ago, and prices continue to grow on a regular basis. There was a 9.4% increase in the price of food last month, the largest year-over-year increase since 1981 for meats and poultry, 22.7% for utility services, and 37% to 47% for gas prices in all regions. Living expenses are rising across the country, but some areas are being hit worse than others. For example, according to the CPI statistics, prices rose by 9.1% in the South and 8.7% in the waves in the past year. According to JEC estimates, the average inflation cost for a household climbed from around $100 in April 2021 to more over $380 in January 2022 last year. Over $500 in additional household costs, which have the highest inflation rates among the nation states. Because of this, nearly half of Americans, 47%, say that the rising cost of living is the greatest danger to their financial well-being. About 44% of respondents to TD Ameritrade's financial disruption study also expressed concern about growing healthcare costs. People are being squeezed by rising costs for fundamental necessities to make ends meet. American families are taking on unprecedented amounts of debt in the first 3 months of 2022. Consumer debt reached a frightening new high of $15.84 trillion. Mortgages now account for 71% of all household debt, a figure that has risen steadily since the start of the health crisis, when homeowners started originating $8.4 trillion in new mortgage debt. In fact, the median property price has increased by 30% in the last 2 years, to $428,700, coinciding with the move. The percentage of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck has also increased in the first few months of 2022. A Lending Club study found that 64.4% of Americans, or 166 million adults, are living paycheck to paycheck as of April 2021, up from 52% in April 2021. There are currently 67% of families that feel their salary is not sufficient to keep up with the rising cost of living. A secondary poll performed by OnePoll found that the average American thinks they need an annual income of $86,000 to be financially secure. However, 57% of respondents said that no matter how much money they make, their finances will always be a source of stress for them. Because they've never seen a slump in the economy, Generation Z and millennials are nervous about the economy. Only 28% of Americans believe that the country's economic situation will improve in the next year. Unfortunately, the economy is about to face a reckoning, and the United States will once again see things go south. A number of financial analysts have already noted the beginnings of a deterioration in the second half of this year. JP Morgan Chase & Co.'s top US economist Michael Farrelly predicted that growth would fall from 2.4% to just 1% by the end of 2022. The prognosis for Goldman Sachs are likewise lower in the last week. Bank of America economists have slashed their growth projections to only 0.4% for the rest of the year. I don't think you can have a completely benign soft landing of the economy at this point, where inflation comes down but unemployment doesn't go up. Ethan Harris, Global Economics Research at Bank of America, said, "We're either gonna have a weak economy or a deep recession," he warned. Distinguished guests, please join me in expressing my gratitude. There is no doubt that the system is broken, as we are in the midst of a long-term economic downturn. Sadly, this is just the beginning of our woes, caused by decades of careless monetary decisions. Things will only get worse from here, and the American people are already sensing it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Have a good one.